Now it's Charlie vacation time. It's a music for sea and sunshine. Here's the reggae rock boogie disco style. There was never so much fun in a long while. Hear the sound system echoing in the ghetto. Where the music is mellow, the dancing you will never want to stop. This forward, this you're reading from the top. Come on.
Okay, text Warren, Rebecca,
Hi.
and Teresa, you're now live.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let me move this thing. Okay.
Till we could open. I'm having a lot of chest pains.
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound right.
Huh?
I said that doesn't sound right.
Oh no, it doesn't have a choice. By the time I reach 30, it's gonna go. Yeah, I'm counting down.
All right. So good evening to our viewers, to our listeners, and welcome again to our Wednesday evening program, Heart to Heart. We just want to give God thanks for another week. We, give him all the honor, all the glory, because he is worthy. We trust that, this program is going to reach persons who really need to hear it, who, maybe going through issues that we may discuss that would, help you. We just, share from our heart, from, our own experiences and testimonies. And we trust that, somewhere along the line, you would be able to get some help. And if you still didn't get any help, you can always, reach us on the program, ask a question in the chat, share, your concerns, and we would do our best to, give you an answer, based again on our experience and the Word of God. So welcome, and we are ready to go heart to heart. Hi, text, Rebecca.
Hallelujah.
That's all right.
Praising things. I reach a 40. And we want to talk tonight about something that is hitting home for me. Storm, disasters. And how it's like, it's really crazy. It is in Bermuda. It's come from all Russia, China, all over. Now it's hitting the Caribbean. And my thing is, today, I sit down there with my idle brains. And when I went home to Grenada for the first time, I saw this, not the Granny 10, but on the other part of St. David's, I saw this, the water. When we went up this high hill, and then there was a water in the valley. Today, I got lost in my own thoughts. I'm thinking, how did the water get on top there? But I watched a site the other day. They was talking about how the earth plates changes and stuff like that. And some of the islands, like they was down so low under the water after the hurricane, and then they show all the dishes, like all the plots of water, and as the earth closes back up or come together, like you find, like we have the high rise, like the volcano in Graniton. Could you imagine if that was flat land? But now it's way on top of the hill. So it must come from somewhere if there is no depth to it. So far, I haven't heard anybody talk about depth. And then I saw another one, I think, was it in St. David's? T.
The Granny Tang is in St. Andrews.
No, the other one by the
Oh,
beach.
that was in St. Andrews too, Lake Antwine.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about those things in them. If there is a storm, Grenada is an island surrounded by water. My panic today, and I know where my chest pain is coming from. My panic today is my little sister islands, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. They're in a little hub in the ocean out there. I'm saying, God have mercy. If all this flooding happened in New York and all this flooding is in the Caribbean now, we have a lot of rain and a lot of flood. Those islands are bigger than us. How are we going to make it? Is the people in Carriacou, are they listening to the news? Do they know they should run over before rain start to fall here? For Osprey to start picking up people quick. I don't know. Sometimes I think I have idle brains. But that's where my panic and anxiety start from today. How are they going to make it? Is people really listening to the weather forecast? Look at Brooklyn flood, and they're saying, oh, we never see Brooklyn. Listen to me. It's on the news. It's on the weather channels. It's going to happen. We're seeing how the ocean now is tumbling and tumbling. We're seeing things. Why aren't we prepared? This is what I want to talk about. In Bermuda, now they have storm there. It's in the Caribbean.
No, we are in the hurricane season.
Huh?
We know that we are in the hurricane season until November. Yeah. We start the hurricane season from June to November. That's our wet season. That's the hurricane season.
Rebecca.
Oh no, just say we just had a storm.
Rebecca.
Oh, sorry.
So knowing that every year you have the disaster management office giving news way before, telling you, where shelters are, where the low-lying areas are that are prone to flooding and all of that. So this information every year is disseminated. A lot of us don't want to look at the news because of the negativity, too much negative information. And probably that's why. There's another thing I hear in Grenada. When NAGMA says something and it doesn't happen, okay, so NAGMA might say we're gonna have rain tonight, and whole night pass, no rain. Tomorrow, no rain. So people start to kind of mistrust the information that they're getting, and so now they don't pay that much attention. But like I said, we know when we are in the hurricane season, we get news that 10 storms are expected. Well, 10 serious ones. You may have all these weather systems live in Africa and coming across. And they expect probably about 10 to be serious hurricanes. That may probably get into between category 1 and 4 or 5. So that information is being disseminated early, and you're advised to probably put a package together with medical supplies and stuff like that. So in case you have to leave your home, if you're in low-lying areas, to go to a shelter and all of that. If you're on higher ground, then chances are, they may not be flooding. There can be landslides and all of that, but you got to figure out, where you are, whether it's safe enough if something like that happens. Of course, we know we had that hurricane, and the name not even coming right now.
Ivan.
And Ivan came, and it touched just every single community, right? There were hardly anybody that was not touched by Ivan. So we can have those, for category 4, category 5, that no matter how much you prepare, this disaster would happen. But, people are aware. It's just that we're not, and I say we because sometimes I too, just don't want to listen to the news because of all the negativity. However, we know, and trust me, if something's seriously coming, people talk, we talk, and we're on social media. And so the news would come to you that, yes, we were expecting something to hit us probably in a day or two or whatever. And then you would see, that's when you would see the supermarket shelves getting empty very fast and all of that. So, you know, we're prepared to a certain extent. We are prepared. We know it's coming.
My cry is
We might look like a musical, but we know.
my cry is Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
Different to Grenada, in terms of persons who are under sea level and all of that, areas that are under sea level.
Guyana is under sea level. Guyana is so far down on the sea level.
Yeah, but they have floods.
I've
Serious.
never experienced a storm, so I'm panicking now because I've seen all this storm is going on. And even when Ivan passed, you know, nobody was busy doing anything. And then they said, oh, it came by surprise. It didn't. I don't want to be caught. And that's my prayer. Whatsoever storm is, Lord, to never let me be there.
I know there are a lot of people who wanted to experience a hurricane until they had Ivan. I don't think they want to anymore. And 10 months after that, we had, I think it was Irene that came through, and people were much more prepared then, you know, even though it was not as serious. There was a lot of rain that time. Ivan was a lot of wind. Irene was a lot of rain, but people were much more prepared because they just had that serious one, you know, a few months ago. So sometimes when you know, the experience is the best lesson, I guess.
I don't know. I'm doing a storm watch now. Every time I'm putting on, I'm thinking I'm doing storm watch to see how far it came, how far. Is it? It was in the Dutch. Rebecca. You was talking about it. What were you saying?
No, we just had a storm. It was now it's a tropical storm we just experienced. We had lots of flooding. Yesterday we were like mopping like crazy. It was awful. Lots of rain.
Inside the house?
Sorry?
Inside the house?
Well, not because it was raining nonstop. So sometimes you have to be careful because of the wind. So sometimes the water can get through the window when it's like real heavy wind. So you have to keep wiping. Yeah, because it's hurricane season. So yesterday it was really bad, but it's past. I think it's heading to Puerto Rico and to the States.
Yes.
Yeah, it's hurricane season. So
I don't know what to tell people, but all I'm saying is that, guys, just batten down, get things, lock up like your windows, seal it, get plastic for protection, put it over the window on the inside, not on the outside, on the inside, and board it up so at least when the rain comes, it will hit against the plastic and not inside the house. And then the water it takes cars and bikes. I don't want to experience that.
yeah, you should have seen the flood. It's just I think I couldn't leave the house for 2 days because it's just water, all, you know, mud.
That's another thing. Walking in mud, for my foot to touch mud, it's not that easy.
I mean, Canada probably is
Yeah, we had
off the coast. There was something that went up the other day that touched the coastal part of Canada, though, no?
Yeah, probably that end, Alberta, those
yeah.
kind of places. I think here is too much of a vast landmark. Like we have a lot of flat land, yeah, instead of the bridges. So for America, they would always get flooded out. Why they have a lot of bridges.
Water.
Yeah, and
A
the
lot of water,
bridge, yeah. And all sides of the road, there are little pockets. If you're going down to Florida, there's so much little pockets on the side with like little
You
street.
see how Florida gets a lot of flooding as soon as a little rain. Yeah.
Mm.
and they just seem to get a lot of the hurricanes or bad weather that goes through. Even if it bypasses the Caribbean, normally go up on that edge, you know, Florida, the Georgias, up that road there.
Mm.
So like, you know, Rebecca said, we in the hurricane season, so we expect that and we just have to be prepared.
But I think this is the first time like I'm so into it, and it causing me like to panic because like for people with young children, how are they making it when they have to run? And with the kids and run with a.
We've been
Just-
through Ivan. We've been through Ivan. I had a 1.5-year-old at that time.
Mm.
The other two was in the US. They were there on vacation, so they didn't come back yet. Actually, they were supposed to come back on the day that Ivan came. So of course, all flights were canceled and all of that. Remember, Kevin was about 4. He said, "Mommy, the hurricane would have blown the plane away." But Nicholas was quite traumatized. He was sleeping and woke up when the eye passed and the wind turned to the other side. And he started to raise some of our galvanized, so he was making that noise flopping. And that's what he remembers. So, you know, after that, anybody even just pounding something, you just run and grab you, you know? He was traumatized for years. I mean, I remember him being in secondary school, and I was working late one day and there was thunder and lightning or whatever. And I said, I could just imagine him blowing up my phone. I couldn't have my phone with me. And when I got up to the office and I pulled my phone, like, Mom, where are you? So even, you know, in his teenage life, he was still traumatized from, you know, Hurricane Ivan. So.
Because could you imagine and the young people that is so traumatized by every time you put the TV on, there is flood here, there's flooding there, like the water and for the ocean is coming in, this is coming in, there is this there. I don't know, so that's my little panic that we pray for our brothers and sisters and the family that something is going to kind of cease down, quiet down, and then they go through it or they don't have bad experience. But sometimes they give you so much a warning and they say, leave your house, leave that area. Some people don't leave, they stay.
Yeah.
I could not be a firefighter. I could not be a police because I'm not going out there for them. Sorry, guys.
Some people just don't want to leave their property, you know, if flooding and whatever. Not the flooding, people come and steal afterwards. So they just would not leave. They will tell you they don't have anywhere to go. Where am I going to go? Even if you're providing transport. And then in the middle of it now, they want to call. My house is flooded, I'm on the roof. I need to be rescued. You know, so it's.
Like my yesterday, it was very scary for my mom, and I forgot because I wasn't here for Hurricane Irma in 2017 that devastated the island. So I was wondering, I'm like, where is she? It was raining a lot, and she just kept looking at the window and she's like, the hurricane. So it was so traumatizing because my parents experienced the whole, like the house wasn't completely damaged, but my mom was in the bedroom and the window just blew out, you know, and she ran, you know, for shelter in the bathroom, I think. So the experience of Hurricane Irma yesterday, it's like hurricane. So it's so traumatizing for her.
Yeah.
No, really, it was really, yeah.
Let's just pray for our seniors to and remember them that, you know, that's something that God is going to open doors for them. Because I can't remember ever experiencing the Irma hurricane. And I'm 60. So probably there was favor that God must see.
We had storms in Grenada, a lot of rain, a lot of slides and all of that. So I mean, I experienced that. But Hurricane Ivan would have been the worst that I remember there was a year I was in Florida. We had our regular meetings there. And I remember them closing up a day early so that persons could go back, to their countries. I was going up to New York. I was not going back to Grenada right away. So I went up to New York, and I remember the night just lying, sleeping, and the TV was on in the room, and opening my eyes and just seeing water up to rooftops. And I was like, where is that? And that was, oh gosh, I don't remember the name now. That was when, anyway, that was a rough one in the south. I mean, like I said, the water was up to the rooftops of houses and all of that. I mean, we just got away by by our teeth, It was really, really, that one was, what was the name of that hurricane? It was really, really bad. And okay, the memory is not coming now. But that was a really serious one. So when Ivan, when it started, my thoughts was on that. The only, and at the time I was living not far from the ocean, right? So I'm standing on the veranda and we're looking at these waves just, pitching so high. And we're like, if that water would it come up to my house? I'm talking about the bay now. Mm-hmm. However, I know it was a lot of wind. So the wind, with the little rain that was in the wind, it was driving the water, like Rebecca said, under the windows, go down and come out and stuff like that. So there was some water, it had to be stuff in bath towels and stuff. But the wind and just these galvanized flying past by from other homes higher above, and every time a sheet of galvanized fall in the back, I'm telling my niece, that's one from ours, and she would, kind of peep and said, no, that's not the color of our roof, We can laugh now, but at the time it was, really, I don't know, you're panicking. You don't know, when the roof is going to go, because like I said, you see all these, they're flying around like projectiles, God spared my home. There was just minor damage, but it brought a lot of tears because, you're looking around, and then it was dark because, no power, everything. So you're waiting for the light to come to see, the damage outside. And as soon as the little, because you could not sleep. I mean, there was no sleeping. And as soon as the little light started to come and I looked and saw all the dumb trees, I mean, even in my yard, orange tree and everything. But I mean, the tears came because then you know that there are others who are in homes that are not, as well built. And it was a sad one. When eventually 2 days later, I was able to go out and take a drive out, to go find family members, just to see if they were okay. And you see the disaster all around. It was, you couldn't help crying, the tears just came.
It's overwhelming.
It is.
And especially with your houses blown away. One of the things they taught us is that when you're leaving the house, never walk with your head up. You have to keep your head down because zinc, things that you would never flying, zinc is flying. They had so many encounters where people just had their heads just because the zinc is literally blowing. So you have to be so careful. You have to be walking with your head down, making sure. I think one time when I was young, I saw hurricane. I don't remember, you know, Hurricane Lewis, when we had hurricane in 95. And you saw a fridge just tumbling down, going like this, tumbling down the road. That sometimes is either category 5 or category 6 could do something like that. It's devastating. Because you're just hoping that when you hear the winds, you're just hoping the roof doesn't move, you know, you're just hoping that, oh God, I don't talk about no electricity.
I remember being just so grateful. I remember when my house was building, and the builder was saying, main builder was saying that they're using all this raw bolts and whatever to make sure that hurricane not going to take your roof off, you know. So, like I said, my roof probably was, you know, a bit stronger than most. There was some galvanized that was extended, and I remember my brother had told them, make sure and don't leave that galvanized with the edge like that. Nobody fixed it, so it stayed like that. And so when that wind turned and started to, you know, kind of get in under that, it removed a few of the screws. And so the galvanized was flopping, and that's what my son would have heard. And that just had him traumatized, I tell you, for years, you know, up to being a teenager, probably 14, 15. He was still traumatized whenever we had thunder, lightning. Probably still is, but you know, kind of working on it now because he's older. But yeah, there was just I mean, I had to take in a family after the hurricane because their house fell. Family with me for a while.
Veronica, good night. We're talking about all the flooding and disasters that is going on throughout the world. I know it's in the Caribbean. I know you guys had it in Florida. Oh, I heard it from your hometown there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, God has been keeping me safe, and because I haven't been hearing much about it anyway. Even when we experienced the bad weather, when it came to Orlando, which is Central Florida, we just had light rain. So we've been really blessed in that aspect. I know my hometown, they got it a little bit worse than we did. They had debris all over the place and a lot of flooding. So, but fortunately and I'm in a what they will call like a low area where my apartment is, but very little flooding.
Oh.
Yeah, we were blessed in that aspect. But my heart goes out to those who experience, you know, harsh weathers and, you know, that type of thing. I remember when I was a little girl back in I think it was back in 1975 or 76, they had Hurricane David. And Hurricane David came and devastated, oh my goodness. The little city I was in, it destroyed it. And for days we couldn't even go outside. It was so much water. Like I was living in a house with stilts, living on top of stilts. And those stilts were so high, and even the water was inside the house. It was just that high. And I remember my mom saying, you can't go in the kitchen area. You can't go in the kitchen. Stay in the living room area, you know, and which was the living room was in the front of the house. And she's like, don't come to the back, it's too low. But other than that, I've never really experienced a hurricane, you know, that's so harsh, and thank God for it. Though every year when they talk about hurricanes coming our way, I always try to stay prepared for it. You know, I'm getting those perishable goods, making sure I got batteries, candles, making sure, you know, I got plenty of water, you know, making sure I fill the bathtub up with water, you know, those type of things. And For me, if I had to choose whether I need electricity or water, I'll take the water, because electricity, I can get somewhere and get me a book or go to sleep, or, it wouldn't be so bad for me. But not being able to bathe and brush my teeth, oh my goodness. That's, to me, that's too harsh.
I would have to call some cousins. Hey, you guys have some water there? You guys have this?
Exactly. And it also reminded me, during COVID, the grocery store shelves were basically empty. People were coming in just grabbing whatever they can grab. And that's why it taught me a lesson to always try to stay ahead of the game, to try to always, every time I go grocery shopping, I always pick up extra canned goods.
Mhm.
Pick up extra canned goods and just store them. Like in my closet, I've got a lot of canned goods. And so and my son said, "Why do you have all these canned goods? You're just a hoarder." I said, "No, I'm not hoarding. You may be the one that eat these vegetables one day or these canned goods one day." I have to think, even though they're adults, I still have to think about their well-being, because I know if
But they're gonna
something
come back.
yeah, if something drastically happens, there, "Mom, you got so and so. Mom, can we come over?" I know that's what they will do. So, I always try to keep extra just for them. Like my son, Javon, when he comes over, I think he thinks this is like a little store. He's like, "Can I have this? Can I have that? Can I have this, mommy? Mommy, can I have that?" I said, "Whatever you see, go ahead and take it." But I buy extra just for them, because I know that they will come.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's good to stay prepared for, times such as that. Don't wait until the rain comes in your backyard for you to get out and go do things. Be ahead of the game. That's what I say. Be ahead. If you got the right, like our landlord, she prints out a checklist for us to keep in mind, keep those documents safe and up high so that, they won't get destroyed. Put them in plastic. If you got a container that's sealable, put those in there. Just a checklist of things that you're going to need: emergency phone numbers, or addresses, because you just never know. It depends on how harsh it is. You may lose somebody, you don't know how to get in contact with them. And, small things happen. Like, you might have a child that said, "Oh, I'm going to the store before it starts to rain." And then they get caught up somewhere else. And, you just need those numbers. I know me for sure. In my phone, I don't know anybody's number by heart. And I think that's these phones and technology is a way to handicap us, because, I said, if I was to get into a serious situation, I wouldn't know not one person's number. Not
Same
one.
here. Fits.
I was thinking about that. I said, you know what? I'm going to have to start writing these numbers down and just keep them in a safe place in my personal, because I would be in trouble. Literally, I would be in trouble not being able to get in contact with anybody. I said, wow. And especially if you don't have a phone, you can't even wait for them to call you, because why? Your phone is not working. So it's good to be able to write these numbers down and keep them safe. And just, be warned. And thank God I don't have any small furry animals around, because that's another layer of stuff you got to deal with. You got to keep up with them, and wherever you go, they got to go. And God forbid if you're traveling with somebody else and you got to take that animal with you, and they looking at you cross-eyed, and, in about 8 hours, they telling you and your animal got to go. And especially you see somebody else, "Why don't you ride with so-and-so and so?" Yeah, they got more room for you. You know how we do.
How about people that are not equipped? or who are not financially able, and storm come and they're alone. There's no family. The neighbor don't know you, and you're just by yourself. No cell phone. Nobody know you because you're shy to talk to people. What is the, what is the best advice and for people like that?
Well, the best thing I would tell them to do is, stay friendly. Because in life, we never know who we might need. You might say, I would never need her, but God is so humorous like that. He would make that be the one person that you do need, and he would set you up just like that. So I always say, be friendly to people. Be friendly to them, because you never know who you might need. And especially if you're not a person of means who have the money to be able to afford these things, we're stronger in numbers sometimes. So it's best to be able to go to that person or people and say, hey, can we collaborate together and do something together, plan together, or, if we need to escape a situation, how can we come together, I'm sorry, what was the original question? I was about to go in another area until I stopped myself.
I know. It's the same people who live alone, don't have much money. What will happen to them? Like this. But generally, in times of disaster, people look out for each other. So somebody might have Mr. Jones, living down the road. Okay, somebody will go check Mr. Jones down the road, or Mrs. whatever. I find that in time of disaster,
that is only in Grenada. Does it really happen all over? Because that time everybody is running. You see back home, okay, so in Grenada, everybody is first cousin and second cousin. There is no stranger. Whether you're a stranger or not, you're just cousin. You're just part of the crowd. If they see you, you're part of the family. So everybody gonna look for everybody. But
in Hawaii, when they had the fire, there was people that lost their lives, and it wasn't that many. I think maybe like 5 or between 5 and 10, I think. But I believe that they may have been people who lived alone, who were elderly.
Yeah.
And once that fire starts rolling, the word gets around real quick. You need to move, or you smell it or see it or whatever. And, you think about, oh, let me go back and get grandma, but you may not have the time to go, two blocks over.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing about it. I always would advise people that if you know that you have someone elderly in your family, don't move away too far away. You want your own privacy, your own space, but you definitely don't want them too far away. Maybe a few doors down if you can afford it and that person can afford it. A few doors down. That way, you can always be checking on them. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I see where single parents do it all the time, who co-parent with their children. They make sure that there's so many miles away from each other. That way they can be, can pick the child up from school or, anything that may happen. So I think that's very important that we do that, especially for the elderly.
That is some very good tips tonight. Rebecca?
I've experienced quite a lot of hurricanes in the Caribbean, because living in the Caribbean, it's just kind of part of living in a zone where you have hurricanes. And in the beginning, I have to admit, it seemed to me more like was fun night where, just locked in with no electricity, candles, But what I would have to say is I learn a lot from my experience of hurricane, especially living in like rural St. Martin, where you're a lot of things is community, really depending on trusting on community, and also like family members asking them, do you have enough wood? Do you need any wood? Do you need help to barricade or to seal your windows and so on? So all of these things is I grew up kind of knowing, and now the government is making it a very important thing where they go into certain communities and also advise the community, making sure that they have enough water and so forth. But I have to admit, the hurricane, certain people who get affected also is because sometimes the type of the housing that you have on the island, it's a real. So what our government has done and tried to do is make sure that people don't have zinc. Like it's not, it's banned for you to build a zinc house on the front side. Even though there have a few people who kind of, in certain areas you could see that, but it's banned because it costs a lot for the government eventually, because when these people, especially if immigrants come into the country, when they lose their housing, they need help. And some of them are not even literally legal in the country because they were living under like in zinc. So that's one of the things that the government has ensured that that we don't have zinc housing. But again, certain people, instead of the zinc, some people started building wood house. And since Hurricane Irma that devastated the island in 2017, there's now more strict rules in how you build your house. Really strict, very strict rules, because it costs a lot and there's too much devastation that happens. So the government makes it try to make it an obligation to ensure that certain areas where housing is maybe not be up to par, that people can be able to get a government housing, but avoid building zinc houses. Because the thing is, even if there's no hurricane, if you get a storm or flood, that zinc, it's not going to stand. It's really not going to stand at all because of the rain, the heavy rain pouring down. It's really not going to stand. And like, Teresa would say, most people don't want to leave their house to get, they don't want to leave because they figured, we'll stay here and protect it from looters and so on. But I think since our Hurricane Irma, there's a lot more education. There's a lot more warning. There's a lot more update about making sure that it's between July to November, it's hurricane season. So you have to make sure that you have enough water. But we also have other charities on the island that help people who can't afford certain supplies and so on, so they can get it free. Yeah. But honestly, it's only by the grace and the mercy of God that you keep praying. I'm sure Teresa can agree that you don't get any hurricane. Every year we know that we're in a terrible zone, but you just pray to God that every year, by the mercy of God, you just don't get a category 6 or 5. Because if that happens, you can't live in the Caribbean. You can't, because every year it's gonna have, but it happens maybe once in a few years that you may get a category 6 or 5. which is what happened for us in Hurricane Irma, and that was devastated the island. Everything was completely just destroyed. And up to this day, if you drive around, you're gonna see abandoned houses because some people didn't have insurance. They can't afford to build, so some of them left the island, and the house is still there. It's still abandoned. Windows are blown out, everything. So it's challenging. But honestly, I just put my trust in the Lord, because what can you do, really? Because it's only by God. I always say, Father, remember Abraham. You have one righteous. Remember, have mercy, because it's not easy. And can you imagine every year you put money back into buying windows, fixing this, and then another year again? It's only by the mercies of God that we don't have like hurricane category 6 or 5, every year. But Teresa, I'm surprised because I didn't think hurricane goes down to Grenada.
Really?
No, because
Wow.
Grenada, Trinidad, Grenada, all those Curacao, they don't really get much hurricane. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So far this year, we've been blessed. With you getting all the water up the road, what we've been getting down here? Heat. Because the hurricane sucked up all the moisture in the end, so it was just oh my God. However, yes, sometimes those hurricanes, when they come from Africa, they might pass very low, and we end up in the Windward Islands, end up with some hurricanes. But prior to Ivan, I think the one that was most devastating before Ivan was Hurricane Janet, and that was back in 1948 or something like that.
Thank God I wasn't born.
Huh?
Thank God I wasn't born.
I know my adopted mom said that day she ironed, because she probably used to iron, for people and stuff like that. And iron all these clothes, and then the next day, I don't know what was iron clothes, or this dirty clothes, or this clean clothes. And so, we become very complacent at times, from 1948 until 2004 was Ivan. So we became so complacent. People said, oh, they wish they could experience a hurricane. Well, no one wants to experience one, all right?
No electricity we had electricity for 2 months.
Exactly.
I'm the champion of the switch.
We had to go in the river and wash in the dirty water anyway.
Buckets and go dig in the cistern to take water. It's so funny because yesterday, 2 days ago, I said I'm really an island girl, even though I lived in Canada for so long, because it didn't bother me because it's so in us. Someone who's a tourist will be like, excuse me, and you have to hot the kettle and you got bathed with the bucket, because there's no you gotta put the hot water in the bucket, take a bowl, a small bowl, put water on you and bathe, and then you're done.
I don't mind that.
I mean, we had to, at the time I had a tank, and thank God it didn't fall down. So I had a tank, but I had a baby, right? So I mean, he was barely a year and a half. So we had to be saving water to wash his clothes. I could wash his clothes by hand with a little water from the tank, but then for our clothes, well, I started to just bank up clothes. Sheets. I mean, we had to use like all the bath towels and the big spreads and so to soak up water. So all these things, they were dirty. And I got to the point where I said, okay, so if the water don't come back this week, I will have to go to the river. And the Saturday and the Friday, I went home from work and the water was back. No, I mean, it was with all the disaster, there were fun things in it, for me. I remember now when, work opened back because people need to get, feed for the animals. You need to, get the flour and thing out so people can, get their breads and whatever. So we went back to work and there's no electricity, so we never had to iron. you just pull a Ramble t-shirt and your jeans, you know, and my electricity came back kind of pretty early. And I was upset because now I have to iron clothes. There's no excuse for me just pulling on a Ramble, t-shirt and jeans. So, we made fun out of it in a sense, but it was serious.
One thing I would like to say that I wish the government could put a ban on people that building so close to the coast.
Oh, they're doing that now here.
It should have some kind of distance before that, because once the weather change and the ocean and the water is coming in, and then you hear they say, oh, we lost life and we lost houses. But if they can bring it back, like we wouldn't lose so much people, widen the roads and push the buildings back, or let whatever is on the coast so close to the water, take it down and send them somewhere else. Because that's that caused all the disaster. Because when one house go, the other one is gonna come after it, and the other one is gonna come, because at that time the mud is so soft. So one house come down, the other one is like a domino the effect. And I just wish that they could just stop people from building so close to the water. I don't play with water.
You gotta talk to people in Florida.
I'm back
I
home.
mean, we
Because if the water hit there was a street, Melville Street. What is
that's in town.
Yeah, and when you go up like is it Grenville, Victoria, all those?
Yeah.
Push it back. It's too close. And then this is, oh, we lose a lot of people, but if you look at the place that they lose the people, is the people that's building close.
And a lot of times the type of houses that's built, because a lot of times it's squatters too. So just find a spot and you put down a little house.
Because look at China, they lose so much. But when you watch and they building and where they build, they have a lot of houses that literally on stilts in the water. So when you lose all that now, we over here, we crying, we say, oh my God, so much people just die. And they lose. No, they're literally living in just over the water. Their little houses just covered. I would not live there.
I think things like that, it causes the ecosystem to unbalance itself. Exactly. And I think, I think when it comes down to science, we have so many things to learn about the earth and the way it's shaped and formed, and how the little things that we do, how it affects, the ocean, the livestock, just so many things that is affected. And even our the air that we breathe, and I was, as Rebecca was talking about the zinc, I was thinking about, we never know what kind of particles are even in our daily lives that's falling, and so we just have to be careful. We have to be better stewards over the earth.
I want to see that to come up. There is no mercy. It just comes up.
Oh yeah.
Like they have like big hotels right by the beach, big houses. Look at on the coast of Africa, all those nice big buildings and hotels and all. It's just just gone. Everything gone.
But I think that for those who build on the beach, for the most part, they probably got insurance on their homes. So if they get a devastation, guess what? It's no big deal to them, because guess what? They'll rebuild. And a lot of them look forward to the rebuilding anyway, because they know that their house is going to be 100% covered. That's
but then we're looking now at insurance companies that are failing because of that, and they don't want to insure homes that are in certain areas are built in a certain way,
Mhm.
or how much years old. I mean, we see that happening in Florida again.
Exactly. Yeah,
I think that's the next topic that we should bring on some insurance people here and talk about the importance of life insurance, um, sick benefits, yeah, and insurance, because a lot of people don't have insurance. And when they get sick or they die, you have to do GoFundMe and to bury people. Those are things that I want to bring up. And what do you guys think? Is something good?
Insurance is very expensive too,
you know, I'm not.
unless you have it with a company. Go ahead, Brad.
No. I was just gonna say. To me, I think life insurance is a ripoff in a sense. Now, if you have the money to afford the right kind of insurance, but for so many years, we as people of color were not privileged to the right kind of life insurance. We were given that $5,000 policy, $10,000 policy, and we would pay on it for 20 years. I know my mom and dad, oh my God, I know they probably paid triple what the policy was worth, right? And if you miss a couple cycles, guess what? It's over. To me, it's not meant for you to benefit off. It's for the insurance company to benefit off. Now, if you're able to get term life insurance, I would definitely go for term life insurance. But at my age, it would be very expensive to get that term life insurance. But if you can afford it in your budget each month, yeah, I would get it. But for so many years, we weren't told that there's a term life insurance. And it was against the law to sell us that type of life insurance. We had to go for that. What did they call it? Whole life or whatever. I don't know what it was called. But I know my parents probably paid 3 times as much as it was worth. Yeah. So I'm not so sure about the life insurance. I think it's just best for you to now, I would say, find out what funeral home you want to take your body in and set up a payment plan. That's what I would do. Set up a payment plan or either
on that route, you have to pay for, okay, so if you're going to the funeral home to have something, you have to look at the grave, then you look at the tombstone, then you look at the opening and closing of that grave. Then you have to look at how much hours they're gonna have you out, how much days, when and who wants you to be out. Then how long, how much hours do you want to be out for? Then they have another one. If you want to have the service in the church, you have to pay for that time. If you want snacks, so everything is individual. Though it's a bundle, but it's I took my forwardness and went and find out, and I was not happy. After 2 days, I couldn't even.
It's always been that way, Tex. Always, even though it's bundled up, it's individual. Every little thing costs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not cheap either.
No, not at all, not at all.
And to be honest with you, when it comes down to the funeral homes, especially those who are Black businesses, I don't think that they give the Black people in the neighborhood a better discount. Everything is for gain. Everything is for gain. It's for profit.
Mm-hmm.
And they have it so to the point where, and I understand that they want their money ahead of time. They don't want you paying on it because they already know in the next few weeks you don't forget about Brother John. Well, I shouldn't say Brother John, Brother Paul. Brother Paul is going. You know, the light bill is due. I can't, what
So
am
you
I
gotta
gonna
pay that before they put you in the ground. You gotta pay everything. They're not trusting you. Back then, and they used to say, "Oh, okay, just come and pay after." Now, no, everything gotta pay.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you have something that called the outstanding balance. So if you die, I'm in April, you owe the government because everything that you eat the taxes. So you gotta pay for the taxes that you eat before they bury you.
Thank goodness.
A lot of people should vomit before they die. So they don't have to pay the government
You said they should do what now?
vomit. I'm so sorry. So sorry, people. I'm truly sorry from the depths of my heart. That was an accident statement. It didn't mean to come out. The slip of the tongue is not the fault of the man. So sorry. But you have
Yeah.
so much things that you have to you have to pay for. And then some people have and the will. They have wills that they can do and avoid the government from going into the estate of the family. I think it's the ODD, something like that, or the OTD or something like that. You have to get a lawyer, get a person who knows about those things. And I think we should do that. We should find somebody from Grenada, and then find somebody from New York, and then find somebody from Canada. Oh, and Rebecca, we should find somebody in your state for insurance and death benefits and stuff like that. Hey, this is the end time, so it's best that we
Okay,
talk.
I have one. Someone we know.
Okay, then. So that can happen.
Is that for next week or?
Yeah, let's do it as soon as possible. And I'll get 2-3 people from Canada here. And hey, let's talk insurance. Let's talk debt benefit. Let's talk about hurricane, disaster. Let's know, because a lot of us don't know how to prepare medically, what to prepare for. Yeah, let's talk business. Veronica sent something on the TTS show today, and she said just have a look at it. One thing I pick up there: how much do we actually know what's going on around the world? How much do we know? Do we just see in our country and forget about our brothers? A lot of us don't know what's going on out there.
You know, me personally, I wake up to an alarm that gives me the Reuters news, and it gives me news all around the world. And then my interest right now is immigration news and African country, you know, what their leaders are talking about and what they're doing, and how it would affect us in the USA. And I don't, to be honest with you, the European countries, I don't know much about, except for Ukraine and Russia. I know what's going on with them because everybody's talking about it. But for the most part, those other European countries, I don't have an interest, but I should have an interest in what's going on.
Think of our brothers and sisters, yeah.
You know, speaking of Ukraine, we have a couple people in our church that our church has adopted the families of the people in Ukraine, and now they're in our church, and we're providing housing, clothes, food, medical, everything, the works for them. And
we can talk to people like that. How do you feel in this state of loss? How do you feel? You know, let's bring out things, expose things, see what people is going through, how they handling it, how they not handling it. So a lot of things that I want to talk on for the closing of the year, if God spare our lives. Yeah. So next week, let's talk insurance. It is now 9:51. The co-host is gonna close off.
Yes. Okay, so there's some good discussion tonight. Those of us who are in the areas of where, you know, flooding and so are constant, we know that we need to take heed, pay attention to, you know, the disaster management organizations in our countries, various countries, listen and know what is going on. Sometimes they might get it wrong, but if they do get it right, then you want to be very well prepared. So we thank you, God, for another week on this program, Heart to Heart. Thank you for this platform, Gem FM, that we are able to, you know, reach others, Father God, with things that concern us, concern our families. So we give thanks and we continue to give you all the praise, all the glory, all the honor that you deserve. So until next time, join us again weekly, Wednesday. Next week, we'll be talking insurance. So come join us, come interact with us. And until then, we just say blessings to each and every one of you. Thank you, ladies, on the platform tonight. You have a restful night. Some of us have to wake up very early in the morning. Give God thanks. Amen.
Thank you, Veronica, for that clipping today. Thank you so much. And please continue to send clippings. Amen. Because though it may not be the same thing, but it gives ideas. Yeah. So I want to say thank you to Veronica, Rebecca, T. Thank you guys very, very much for a gorgeous night tonight. Amen. Looking forward for next week, please the Lord. Love you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Good night. Is John there to take over though?
I think we can just click. Let me see something. Hold on 1 second. Let me call so we can get totally off. Talk still so I can call Jen. So I'm gonna mute, but you talk.
Okay.
Yeah, last week John was playing the big what they call it, the man behind the he's making all these comments. he was live behind the scenes.
There. I'm sure he's there.
Pleasant good night.
All right. I know he's there.
Just get back in, yeah. So just get back in and I just hear the last end of your comments there. So yeah. All right. See, I have a issue here. Okay, let's go. So that's it is, that it is, that it is, that it is. All right, here we are. Beautiful people of Greater Caricom, Pidmatic, then New York, Florida, California, United States, and Upper Caribbean Island, Veronica, Rebecca McCool. Good night. So, how are you guys doing? How was the night?
Good, it was good.
Well,
You said you had some of the discussion. You're talking about disasters, storms, and hurricanes and flooding and all of that.
Okay. Yeah, it's the season for it too, right? The season's upon us. So our people are preparing for There's, I think those people in the state, there is this Amber Alert thing happening. I think it's other people, the what they call it, the disaster preparedness people.
In Grenada,
Yeah,
in Grenada, Nagma.
NAGMA, and there's another one for the states. Veronica, you know it? The
What's
disaster.
that?
Huh?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
There's a disaster preparedness thing that's going on. I'm actually in Canada. Text help me here. There is this Amber Alarm. You're muted, hon.
Amber Alert.
Yes, Amber Alert is happening in Canada, and they had a test. So I think in the United States, I think New York, they are doing that today.
Oh yeah, we have it too.
Right? And some people are worried and scared that it's something triggering, will be triggering some big thing happening. Like the Kingsmen, when the phone go off, a lot of people start killing people and stuff like that. I saw these stupid comments, you know, and people like, I mean, that is really like, I have my concern about those things, about these people giving away people free cell phone. Remember the Kingsmen, they was giving away free cell phone, and then when the time came and the phone rang, whoever you're standing by and have that phone, will kill that person. You know? Yeah.
Oh, they have a show like that. Was
all the Kingsmen. Where they just giving people cell phone, and the church, if a phone, everybody's shooting phones going off, and people are killing one another and stuff like that. So people's hearing about this Amber Alert stuff, and they are equating that with Kingsmen thing, that if you hear that alarm go off, it might trigger to kill the next person next to you and stuff like that. And whether you're violent or not, that phone will trigger off our server thing in you, make you become violent and kill the person next to you. So whether you have a phone or not, a free phone or not, once this alarm goes off, your intent is clear. You're going to kill the person next to you. So that was crazy today when I was reading that. I said, Lord, these people take this thing to the extreme. You know what I mean? So we had that here for how long? What, 2 years, 3 years now?
Oh, a long time.
Yeah. So only Amber Alert goes off. So if a child get adopted or whatever the name can go, or adopted, yeah, and somebody do something, some parent run off with a child in return in time, you put this Amber Alert out, right? So your phone will get that you know, and you check on the child and the father and whatever. So it's the same thing, and they do it for the hurricane. There's a hurricane happening, you know, it's thing that you get that Amber Alert and stuff like that. So people was panicking and putting all kinds of stuff on Facebook and stuff like that. I don't think, come on, people, wake up. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's something that is real and something that is not real, you know what I mean? And this is so many children go missing, yes, and young adults go missing. So I think it's a good mechanism to use to alert the public that somebody, you know, and the public is a description of the child or the vehicle that the father is driving and stuff like that, so looking for that vehicle. So I don't see nothing wrong with it, you know what I mean? Everything have a back door with it, you know, but this one I think is it's a good thing. It's a really good thing to do. So, yeah. So I think I hear talking about bringing insurance next week. It's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. Actually, on the second, the third, fourth, and fifth, all the men coming out on the third, fourth, and fifth at 9:25. We'll be having a men's conference. The team is preparing men to lead, teaching them and helping them to talk to them about how keeping a home, keeping a wife, having a balanced life, you know, the purpose of home ownership and stuff like that. All the things about what men should be knowing and being to know about, helping them. Because there's a lot of men is fearful of taking insurance because they see when they're dead, another man will spend the money. What they don't know, if you take insurance for your wife, less chances she have to go and look for another man. She have $3 million. She don't need a man then. She don't worry about men because she have financial security and she'll take care of your children, educate them, and have peaceful life. You know what I'm saying? So insurance is not about you. Just in the event that you die, your wife and your children may seek you financially. That's the purpose. That's serious. That's what it is. You know, so man, don't be afraid to take insurance for your children. You see the miseducation of the black man. Sometimes people, they just feel everything is about, you know, another man come and take what they work hard for. You don't know you're dead. So don't worry about it. You know,
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. So I get insurance from Grenada. We get one from Canada, one from down by Rebecca area. one from
It's not like a real green. What is done by the Eureka area down there? Across the river by the big stone on the hill?
yeah, by the angle tree up there.
Yeah, I'm on tree of it.
Yeah. And then Veronica, if you know
Vernon looking lost. What is people talking about? Yes, Vernon, that's how great and give sign. Caribbean people give sign. They have house numbers. You see when you reach the hill, you see a big mango tree. When you
yeah, just
mango tree,
left,
go down the hill, there's a dog, a black dog, see the red down by the pipe stand there. After the pipe stand, a blue house in the corner, right? In the corner, this is the house.
Wow.
Oh, great and direction. Yeah. How to have numbers. So just giving directions.
all right then, guys. Love you guys.
All right. Good night.
You guys do a wonderful job
Nice.
always. Wonderful, wonderful.
Love. Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Blessings.
All righty.
Jail, I thought I was gonna have a baby and the baby would never be with me, but I was acquitted a month and 3 days before Tupac was born. I was real happy because I had a son.
When I was young, me and my mama had beef, 17 years old, kicked out on the streets. Though back at the time, I never thought I'd see her face. Ain't a woman alive that could take my mama's place. Suspended from school, I'm scared to go home. I was a fool with the big boys, breaking all the rules. Shed tears with my baby sister. Over the years, we was poor than other little kids. And even though we had different daddies, the same drama when things went wrong, we blame mama. I reminisce on the stress I caused. It was hell, hugging on my mama from a jail cell. And who thinking elementary? Hey, I see the penitentiary one day. Running from the police, that's right. Mama catch me, put a whoop into my backside. And even as a crack fiend, mama, you always was the black queen, mama. I finally understand for a woman it ain't easy trying to raise a man. You always was committed. A poor single mother on welfare. Tell me how you did it. There's no way I can pay you back. But the plan is to show you that I understand. You all appreciate it. Don't you know in love is sweet? Dear mama. Please, no one above you. You all appreciate it. Don't you know in love is Now ain't nobody tell us it was fair. No love for my daddy cause the coward wasn't there. He passed away and I didn't cry cause my anger wouldn't let me feel for a stranger. They say I'm wrong and I'm heartless, but all along I was looking for a father, he was gone. I hung around with the thugs, and even though they sold drugs, they showed a young brother love. I moved out, started really hanging. I needed money of my own, so I started slanging. I ain't guilty, cause even though I sell rocks, it feels good putting money in your mailbox. I love paying rent when the rent's due. I hope you got the diamond necklace that I sent to you. Cause when I was low, you was there for me. You never left me alone because you cared for me. And I can see you coming home after work late. You're in the kitchen trying to fix us a hot plate. Just working with the scraps you was given. And mama made miracles every Thanksgiving. But now the road got rough, you're alone. Trying to raise two bad kids on your own. And there's no way I can pay you back. But my plan is to show you that I understand. You all appreciate it. Don't you know we love is sweet? And dear mama, please no one above you. You all appreciate it. Don't you know we love it? Pour out some liquor and I reminisce. Cause through the drama I can always depend on my mama. And when it seems that I'm hopeless, you say the words that can get me back in focus. When I was sick as a little kid, to keep me happy, there's no limit to the things you did. And all my childhood memories are full of all the sweet things you did for me. And even though I act crazy, I gotta thank the Lord that you made me. There are no words that can express how I feel. You never kept a secret, always stayed real. And I appreciate how you raised me and all the extra love that you gave me. I wish I could take the pain away. If
all your hard-working mothers out there.
Everything will be alright if you hold on. It's a struggle every day, gotta roll on.
Yes.
And there's no way I can pay you back. But my plan is to show you that I understand.
you all appreciate it. Appreciate the mother.
Don't you know we love you, sweet
Yeah, mama.
place,
All that I am, all that I hope to be, I owe it to my mother. Enough respect to Miss Joyce Callis.
love you, sweet
Yeah, mama. All that I am, yeah, mama. All that I hope to be, I owe it to my mother. Yes, coming up on the 6th to the 8th of, that is October. That's this weekend. Yes, that's the My Father's House Apostolic Ministries, 8 Templar Drive, Etobicoke, presents Unity Conference, October 6th to the 8th. Team, the fight is on. Friday, October 6th, 7:30 p.m. Saturday, October 7th, 7 p.m. and Sunday, October 8th, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. That's right. Yeah, 12 to 6 p.m. And your ministers for this session is none other than Pastor Kyron Shotta, PAW Youth Ministry President, Speaker Presiding Bishop Charles Johnson of AFFI, and host Bishop Collins Bryant and First Lady Karen. That's happening. Don't forget, check them out. All right. The phone number to call is 416-294-1979. Wow, that's an interesting number. All right. So go check them out. Check out the flyer on my page for more details. All right. God bless you and have a wonderful night. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you all.
There are days when I feel the best of me is ready to begin. Then there are days when I feel I'm letting go and soaring on my way. But I've learned in pain how to survive, and I get on my knees. I get on my knees. There I am before the love that changes me. See, I don't know how, but there's power when I'm on my knees. I can be in a crowd all by myself or almost anywhere when I feel there's a need to talk with God. He is Emmanuel. When I close my eyes, so darkness there, there's only love. When I get on my knees, when I get on my knees, there I am before the love that changes me. See, I don't know how, but there's power in the sky. But there's power in the midnight. I don't know how, but there's power without my knees. I get on my knees. And there I am before the Lord, the child of faith. I don't know how, but there's power. I don't know how, but God gives me power. I don't know how, but there's power in my I survive.